Welcome back to Wistoria. I've had to wait a week. I've found myself thinking about the show during the week, and I do look forward to it. I think especially because the last couple of episodes have ended on kind of cliffhangers. Like when you get to the end of the episode, it just cuts off and then the next one picks up right there. The last three have done that. And for those that don't know, I'm actually watching Cowboy Bebop as well. And of course, that's an older show and all the episodes have been released, but I'm watching those daily. So having two shows run side by side, you've got Cowboy Bebop, which is older and definitely seems to be aimed at an older audience. And then you've got Wistoria. I think it's sort of aimed at teens or older children even, but it's more, I guess it's a little more lighthearted, a little more fun in some ways. I mean, Wistoria and Cowboy Bebop are very different shows, but it's just interesting watching them side by side. This is episode 7. It's a very long title. It's called 12 Secret Ice Magics, El Glace Frosse. Oh, my 1000-day Duolingo streak really paid off there. There were some big moments in this one. I will have to say though, a majority of this episode was based on one particular battle. If you're watching these in a row, you can probably guess which battle. I would say 90 to 95% of the episode was that one battle. It probably went a little bit too long. I wouldn't go as far as to say this was a filler episode, but the battle could have been like half the episode, filled in with some more scenes of other characters at the stadium, perhaps. So I didn't hate it, but it was not my favorite episode so far. So the episode starts off with a Lady Elfaria asleep on the job. She's sleeping by a window. She gets woken up by, at first I thought a teacher, but then I'm thinking like an assistant. Like maybe she is the Winston to Lara Croft, that kind of thing. She seems to be keeping an eye on Lady Elfaria and maybe assisting her with jobs. Not sure. She hands her some reports and they are of the promising candidates at the Grand Magic Festival, which I've forgotten the name of exactly. Maybe it is Grand Magic Festival, hopefully. One of the promising candidates is of course Julius, the Ice Mage, and she has earmarked him as Elfie's potential successor. So from that scene we cut down to the stadium and then we get that big battle I've been talking about. In one corner you've got Will, in the other corner you've got Julius and his two teammates. Not Will's teammates, Will is on his own because he raced into the stadium at the end of the last episode. I think you could sort of divide this battle into halves or even into 3 parts. So let's say the first third of this battle is basically Julius and his two teammates, his two little lackeys, who at first I thought were just throwing banter, but we'll get to that. The first third is basically him just throwing everything he's got at Will, showing off basically, and doing a decent job. Will is struggling in the first third. During the battle, it becomes apparent to Will and other people watching, I think as well, that Julius is actually using some of Lady Elfaria's magic, or some of the 12 magics that she's invented. And no one's ever been able to use these magics until Julius, it seems. So everyone's quite impressed. One spell in particular is the one he sort of showed outside of the arena when he had multiple versions of himself appearing in front of the different teams. He's using that spell in the battle. There's multiple versions of him, all attacking Will. And this first third of the battle sort of ends with Julius encasing Will in some kind of trap triangle thing and throwing this massive bomb on him. And then he starts walking around strutting, asking the scouts if they're impressed yet. It seems like his plan all along, someone says this in the crowd, was to get Will to this battle, get Will to this crown battle, so that Julius himself can show off his magical prowess against someone that kind of fights like a monster. You know, not another magical person, someone that moves really fast and has the strength of some of the monsters they would fight in the dungeons. But Will actually breaks out of this. This is where the second third of the battle starts. Will breaks out of this trap and realizes that to use this clone spell so successfully, he's actually getting assistance from his two teammates. So Will knocks them out And now Julius has to fight without his teammates. So Julius starts using other kinds of spells, and we also get some flashback scenes while Will's sort of talking or in a dialogue. Sometimes you don't know quite which one, but there's some flashback scenes of him and Elfie. It turns out Elfie was using the spell when she was very young, when she was 2. Will used to study Elfie using this magic. That's why he's so schooled up on all these spells. He can't use them, but he knows them very well. He actually mentioned that he had 10 Elfies tormenting him when he was younger. And we also got a little bit of backstory with Elfie and Will. They are orphans. They actually grew up in an orphanage, so I don't think we knew that before. I guess that's partly why they're so close. And this is where I think we start to get the last phase of the battle, where Julius gets really angry. He already kind of looks scary because he has these really sharp pointy teeth. He looks like a villain. But when he's angry, he takes on this whole other demeanor. He looks so frightening. He actually gets so angry, it seems, that he's able to conjure more of himself, and he conjures, I think, 8 other Juliuses. But it's not enough, of course. Will manages to beat him, cuts through all the clones, ends up just cracking Julius in the face with his magic glove. He goes flying and saw some teeth come out. And you might be thinking, well, great, now Will can go and grab the crown. But no, the elf mage from one of the other teams struts in, grabs the crown, puts it on his head. So while Will and Julius were fighting each other, distracted, the elf mage, I don't remember his name, he just walks in and grabs it and he wins. But it does seem like Will's not too bothered, because he's shown exactly what he can do against probably the most promising young mage at the school. We got this weird scene where Elfie has like a breakdown, and it's to do with the comment that Will made about the Elfies tormenting him. He used those words, tormenting. And she had one of those weird scenes where the animation style kind of changes. If you watch a lot of anime, you probably know what I mean. But the style almost completely changes, and yeah, she's like crying and stuff. She has a real breakdown. It's quite dramatic. But anyway, she says she wasn't trying to torment him. She just wanted to keep him all to herself. Colette and Scion rock up to the stadium as well. Scion hangs back, grumbles something about, I'm going to beat you one day, and walks off. Colette runs up to Will, and she's upset that he didn't get the crown, kind of, but happy that everything basically worked out. And that's the end of the episode, and I guess the end of the Grand Magic Festival. So I think the Grand Magic Festival went for 3 episodes. So now we might be going back to regular school life, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, the episode was enjoyable. I just thought that battle could have been a little shorter maybe, but I get what they're trying to do, sort of showing off how strong Julius really is and building that up so that when Will does defeat him, it really does feel like a big achievement. I did happen to catch the title of the next episode, which I won't watch yet. I'll wait for the English dub. But it was called Shall We Date? And I do have to wonder if we're going to get anything with Will and Colette. Even though Will has this close bond with Elfie, it does seem like Colette likes Will. And I have to imagine that they're going to explore that at some point in the show. But yeah, that is Wistoria episode 7. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to more. So I'll see you next week when I've watched episode 8 and done my next video. I'll hope to get it around about here somewhere. Cheers.